All right, we'll move on to another story. The US Department of Treasury Office and Foreign Assets Control, also known as OFAC, OFAC, they've announced a civil monetary penalty against GVA Capital Limited. And now, the reason why we're talking about this will become apparent quite soon. It says the Office of Foreign Asset Control has issued a penalty notice imposing a penalty on GVA Capital Limited, a venture capital firm based in San Francisco, California, for violating OFAC's Ukraine-Russia-related sanctions for failing to comply with an OFAC subpoena. Between 2018 and 2021, GVA Capital knowingly managed an investment for sanctioned Russian oligarch Suleiman Karimov while aware of his blocked status. I'm reading this from their report, by the way, from the OFAC's report. It says in 2016, GVA Capital officials met with Karimov at his estate in France to secure his personal approval for the investments. In 2018, OFAC sanctioned Karimov. GVA Capital nonetheless continued managing these investments by working through Karimov's nephew, Narim Gadjiv. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I'll put his name on the screen. Who GVA Capital knew served as Karimov's proxy. The penalty that has been awarded or has been issued to this company is $215,988,000 US dollars. $216 million. So anyway, why are we talking about this? Suleiman Karimov is a name, if you've been watching for a while, you might recognize. He is the guy who the US government says owns motor yacht Amadea, and that's why they seized it, because he's sanctioned, right? So he bought that vessel. He used the US monetary system to make upgrades and pay money towards that vessel. So they seized it for that reason. The judge recently agreed with the US government and awarded forfeiture to the US government. They agreed with them and ruled in favor of the US government. It's been appealed since by the person who claims to own the vessel, Edward Kutanetov. But the US government has proven in that court case that he sold the vessel to Karimov. Why are we talking about this? Because, like I said, Suleiman Karimov has a pattern of working in this way. He's had lots of sanctions against him. 2014, I believe he was sanctioned. 2018, he was sanctioned. I think he got more sanctions in 2022 in the invasion of Ukraine that happened. He's a member of the Russian government. He's also got investments in Crimea, so he's making money from taking raw minerals from Crimea, if memory serves me correctly. Now, he's been operating through these proxies, like I said, through his nephew here. Now, when he bought the vessel, he used his niece to transfer money through Imperial Yachts, the now liquidated Imperial Yachts owned by the Russian Yevgeny Kokman, who was also sanctioned by the US government. And also before that, when he owned motor yacht Ice, and he owned a lot of properties in the UK, he used a proxy there, and a chap named Alexander Studhalter. I've seen emails from this person, this Alexander Studhalter, who I believe is a Swiss banker or a Swiss lawyer, I'm not sure which, but he was writing to people saying that he owned motor yacht Ice, but in actual fact, it was Suleiman Karimov who owned that vessel. So, you know, he has a pattern of doing this. Hi, thanks very much for watching this video. If you want to see the full news videos, click on the link over here. And if you'd like to find the channels, you can find the links below here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.